Hey guys, what's up? I'm Just from MLBBaseballBlogs. I'm here with Tim from the Cash Killing AC Sports Report, giving you another outlook for the 2011 LA Angels squad. Tim, what's up, man?
Nothing much, just enjoying making these previews.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about the new LA Angels. They're in their anniversary year. Do you think they're going to be a good team this year? Do you think with Dan Herron, Jared Weaver, Irvin Santana, do you think those guys are going to have a great squad and have a great playoff push this year?
No. The pitching is good, but the lineup is lacking a lot. I mean, I know they added Vernon Wells, but their lineup is just not good enough. Again, I mean, I'm not quite sure about some of this. Looking at a guy like Fernando Rodney as your closer, you never know what you're going to get with him. In the back end of that rotation, especially Scott Kazmier's got to scare the shit out of you, really. I mean, having Scott Kazmier, he had a 6 ERA almost last season. He lost 15 games. He just had a horrible season. And, I mean, this guy plays in the same division as the Mariners and the A's, who can't hit at all. So, I just don't think the A's or the Angels have enough depth pitching-wise and enough big bats hitting-wise, especially since Kendry Morales is going to be out.
Yeah, Kendry's going to be starting off on the DL this season. Right now, who do you think should be their first baseman right now? I don't really have anybody except on their bullpen, their catcher, Hank Kronger, who's going to be pretty much in the lineup because you don't have no more Mike Napoli, so you have to put pretty much a catcher or a backup third baseman at first base. I think Hank Kronger should be playing first base. Give Jeff Mathis the
there's a
catching role.
possibility. Bobby Wilson, I don't even know who that is, but he is another catcher they have on the roster. He might be more likely because he's older and more experienced, and they might want Kronger to stay in the minor leagues a little longer. Yeah, I mean, they really just don't have another guy out there. They might have to go find someone to play first.
Yeah, so let's talk about their pitching rotation. Jared Weaver last year, you pretty much know a little bit about Jared Weaver, I bet.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he's just like Josh Johnson a little bit, like if we remember making the Florida Marlins video. Jared Weaver, he was 13-12 last season, almost at a 2.99 ERA. He was at a 3.01 and had 224 innings pitched. I mean, this guy, he's just beast. I think he's the future of this LA squad. He's kind of young right now. I just think that he's going to be the future. I have a lot more years in the Angels uniform with this guy. Tim, what do you think about?
The record doesn't tell at all. 13-12 doesn't look like that great of a season, but throwing 224 innings is quite a few innings, and having a 3.01 ERA is really pretty good. So this guy is a really solid pitcher.
Yeah. And then at our number 2, we got a guy who got traded over from the Arizona Diamondbacks, Dan Herron, for Joe Saunders and a minor leaguer. Joe Saunders said he was just really pissed off that he left the LA Angels. I mean, he never wanted to leave LA, but Dan Herron last season was not that. He was iffy last season.
He was bad with the Diamondbacks, but once he came to the Angels, he had actually turned his season around.
And then he got that hit, like one of the batters. I think he was facing the A's that day.
Yeah, that was his first start with the Angels, I believe.
Yeah, and he just got hit right in the arm, and that just kind of took a downward spiral a little bit. I pretty much think that Dan Herron in his first full season with the Angels is going to do pretty well. I mean, having a number 2 spot, I know he didn't beat out Jared Weaver. I mean, Jared Weaver is the beast of that pitching rotation. I just think that Dan Herron is going to be a pretty decent pitcher in that squad at number 2.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Dan Herron is an ace on a lot of teams in baseball. He had a bad season last year by his standards. This guy can win 20 games if he can pitch a full season, and he can also have an ERA way lower than what he had. I mean, his days in the Diamondbacks, I know that was a poor hitting division he was playing in, but he's playing in another poor hitting division now. He should be right at home.
Yeah, so I just really think that he's going to have an okay season with them. Our number 3 guy, we have Irvin Santana, one of my personal favorites, being an LA Angels fan. I really like him. I enjoy all of his games that he pitches in. He has those, of course, bad days where he gives up a lot of runs, and sometimes he just does pretty good. Last season, he had a 17-10 record. I mean, that was pretty good, finishing 7 games above a 500 win-loss record. He had 222 innings pitched and a 3.92 ERA. Tim, what do you think about Irvin Santana?
think he's a very good pitcher. I think he needs to make an improvement on the ERA. Record-wise, he was able to have a pretty nice record at 17-10. He threw quite a few innings last season at 222 innings. So he's a very good pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy watching him. I mean, my mom's an Angels fan. Grew up with a dad who was a Yankees fan, so I'm an Yankee fan. I mean, backing up my mom on this, she was a huge Nolan Ryan fan. I think Nolan Ryan should have been the guy who should be coaching or being the owner of the A's or the Angels. Just to throw that in there, that's just my opinion. Pretty much then we're down to the number 4 starter. We have Joel Pinheiro. He had an injury. I think it was like late middle of the season. He threw a bullpen session, and then he reported that his arm was feeling kind of funny. Last year he had a 10-7 record. He had 3.84 ERA and 152.1 innings pitched. Pretty decent pitcher. I mean, he's coming over from St. Louis. Last year was his first full season with them. He came over in the 2010 free agent, and that's what he did. I mean, he was pretty decent. Tim, what do you think about Joel Pinheiro?
He had a 3.84 ERA with the 10-7 record. That's about what you probably get out of him, but I think he should have an ERA more around like 360 this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be starting to pay attention more about Joel Pinheiro. I mean, he was pretty cool last season. I actually went to a lot of the Angels games out here. I live really close to their spring games, so I watched Joel Pinheiro a little bit. I watched Kazmir. I mean, Kazmir looks alright. Kazmir right now is going to be the last pitcher in the rotation. Tim, Kazmir was 9-15 last year. I mean, he was just horrible. He gave up his worst start, he gave up 6 runs in, I think, 2 innings. And it was just awful against the A's. Tim, do you think that Kazmir should have a bounce-back season this year?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't think this guy has it anymore. Not that he's old, but I just don't think he's that good of a pitcher anymore. I don't know what's happened. He was a bright young pitcher for the Rays, and it's just kind of gone downhill. Since he's been with the Angels, he's been horrible, really.
Yeah, I mean, his only great season over the past 3 years was the 08 season when he went 12-8 with a 3.49 ERA. I mean, that was pretty good. That was his only good season within the past 3 years. So that is your pitching rotation for your LA Angels and my favorite team, the LA Angels. Their key acquirements, they got Scott Downs, who's going to be a great pitcher, I heard. He's going to be on the DL, I heard. He has an injury, so he could be on the DL this season. So, Tim, do you think Scott Downs is going to be a good guy to pitch in your rotation or in your bullpen?
Yeah, he's a very good pitcher.
He's just pretty good. I mean, he had a 5-5 record last season, a 500 record with Toronto. He had a 2.64 ERA, and he had 61 innings pitched. Pretty decent. I mean, he's a pretty good guy. I mean, the Angels, I keep on mistaking them because they're in the same division and everything. So the Angels did not have a lot of key acquirements this season, but they lost some key guys. They don't have Matsui anymore, so Matsui did not really come through last season with the Angels. People thought that they were going to...
the Angels expected this offseason to spend a bunch of money and do a bunch. They got Vernon Wells, but they also traded not Mike Napoli.
They traded Napoli.
Yeah, they traded Mike Napoli and Juan Rivera. I think that was a terrible trade for them. I think they got desperate, and they got a player who's not really even as good as he's getting paid or as much as they traded for.
Yeah, and then their other pickup is Hisanori Takahashi. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I think he's coming over from the Mets, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah, he's coming from the Mets.
And I don't know much about him because I'm not really a huge Mets fan. I can't stand him. But
I can't either, but I've seen him against the Phillies, and he's always seemed pretty good. I think even at the end of the season for them last year, he was a closer. If I remember, yeah, he had 8 saves last season, a 3-point. I just lost him. 3.61 ERA, 10-6. He can even make some starting appearances. So he's a nice long relief type pitcher to have on your team.
Yeah. So let's talk about their hitting. I mean, Kendry Morales is on the DL to start the season. Hank Kronger can make an appearance at first baseman. Jeff Mathis has been named the starting catcher. Howie Kendrick coming off a great season, playing almost all the games last season for the Angels. They're in their anniversary year. Do you think that the hitting right now for the Angels can actually bring maybe a division title or maybe a wild card run?
In this division, division, it's not going to bring you a wild card run because there's better teams than them. I think there's 3 teams that are better than them in the NL Central, at least 2, the White Sox and the Twins, and potentially the Tigers. In the AL East, the Red Sox and the Yankees are better than them. So it's not going to bring you a wild card, but it may bring you a division, because if the Rangers falter and they can't add a pitcher, or this hitting doesn't work out, or it gets ugly with Michael Young, that could work. And the A's, we know they have great pitching, but we're just not sure what they have hitting-wise. So yeah, I think they could win a division, but they're going to need some things to fall their way. They're going to need some hitting improvement, and the biggest thing, they're going to need Kendrick Morales to be healthy.
Yeah. I mean, Kendrick Morales has to come back with like a strong at-bat. I'm pretty sure he is. Kendrick Morales is just a key guy in their hitting area. I mean, Eric Aybar, he's not that power hitter. He's that shortstop. Bobby Abreu is really good. You don't have Mike Napoli anymore. So Torrey Hunter is the guy you have to pay attention for. And you also have Cowie Kendrick, and then this guy named Peter Borjos. I don't know who that is. I think he's a minor league outfielder. But coming into this LA Angels season, I have them ranked in 3rd, but maybe they can outsmart us and be like the San Diego Padres last year, be a great breakout team. Because
yeah, I have them in 3rd too. And just getting back to a few things, Torrey Hunter's getting up there in age. I think he still has it though. One guy who I don't think quite has as much as he used to is Bobby Abreu. I obviously saw him quite a few years in Philly. I think the power might be starting to go from him a little. I mean, he still had a very good season last year. 255, 20 home runs, 78 RBIs, 24 stolen bases. But I think he's a guy. He's getting up there. You just got to watch out for it. I mean, he could go this year. I think he's like 36, 37.
Yeah. A complete win-loss record. I mean, in 2009 they had 97 wins, and then 2010 they had 80 wins. I mean, that was complete loss. They don't have Vladdy they got rid of Vladdy in the offseason. I mean, he was a huge piece. I mean, they just got rid of a lot of key players last season. Kyle Frandenson's a free agent still. Scott Shields retired. Hideki Matsui's with the A's. I just see that the 3rd place spot is pretty much a good spot for them. I don't think the Mariners are going to do that. I think they just suck a little bit.
They suck.
And then not bashing on any of you Mariners. I mean, the Mariners just don't. They just suck. There's just no way to put it. I'm Justin for MLB Baseball Blogs. That's Tim from the Cash Kelly and AC Sports Report. Thanks, Tim, for coming on again.
No problem.
We'll just keep on bringing you guys. We have the Mets coming up today. And I think that's pretty much what we're going to have for you today, unless we decide to have a change in plans. I'm Justin, that's Tim. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you, Tim, again, and have a great weekend.